Manager of the Cincinnati Reds, his 16th year as a big league skipper. As Looper gets ahead of Taveras with strike two. The Brewers and the Reds. Cincinnati winning the first two games of this series. Yesterday it was a 6-1 win for the Reds. Braden Looper trying to salvage this final game. Pitched well against the Cubs the last time out. That was the home opener and the last Brewer win when Looper was on the mound.
Yeah, a lot of question marks with Braden Looper when he made that first start against the Cubs right here at Miller Park, but he came through with flying colors, pitched very well. You know, the injury problems that he had in spring training, he had the bad ribs, then he had a bad neck, but really no signs of any of those problems right now.
Looper 34 years of age in his first season as a Brewer. With the Cardinals the last few seasons. And Taveras in the air, and that'll be out number one. And that's how Looper starts his day today. Let's check that Cincinnati lineup that will face Looper, courtesy of Dusty Baker. It's Taveras, then Dickerson and Votto at the top of the order. Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, and Edwin Encarnacion in the middle, with Ramon Hernandez, Alex Gonzalez, and Micah Owings rounding it out. Lineup courtesy of Toyota and our U.S. Cellular scouting report.
Well, he's got a great sinker, a lot of ground ball outs when he's on, a split-fingered fastball with 2 strikes, and he's a career .219 hitter. He bunts pretty well. He had 13 bunts last year. 13 sacrifice bunts among league leaders for Braden Looper.
Looper can handle the bat, and we certainly know Micah Owings, the Cincinnati pitcher. He's one of the best hitting pitchers in all of the game. Chris Dickerson for the Reds, out to a good start. 3 for 10. He's in a platoon in left field with Jerry Hairston. And another pop-up. Council makes the play, and 2 up and 2 down. Defensively for the Brewers, Braun, Cameron, and Hart in the outfield. Billy Hall gets a call at third base. Craig Counsell, a late addition to the lineup. Hardy is out with Weeks and Fielder on the right side. And Kendall catches Looper. Brewers defense brought to you by Menards.
Yeah, you can tell by looking at the numbers tonight. Everybody wearing number 42. JJ sitting this one out.
Back stiffness is the report on JJ Hardy. And that was a very late scratch to the lineup. Joey Votto quickly down, no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you wonder how much the Brewers batting order has changed, because you don't figure Counsell would be hitting behind Prince. That is news to everybody up here.
Makes you want to use pencil next time you break out your scorebook, huh?
Yeah. After 14 years, I would figure I'd know better.
Well, even the scoreboard has Hardy in the lineup, so we will see as they come to bat. Well, Looper's off to a good start. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. And here come the Brewers, however they choose to hit, to face Micah Owings when we continue. His lineup last minute. Counsell inserted into the 2-hole and the shortstop position. J.J. Hardy out with a slight back strain. Ricky Weeks leads it off for the Crew. So it's Weeks, Counsell, and Braun to start it against Micah Owings, making his first start in 2009. Here's the Toyota lineup. Weeks, Counsell, and Braun at the top, with Prince Fielder, Corey Hart, and Mike Cameron in the middle. Bill Hall, Jason Kendall, and Braden Looper rounded out for manager Maka. Weeks pinch hit yesterday, did not start. Hardy, a late scratch from the lineup today. Shot back up the middle, right at Taveras, and one away. Well, Micah Owings, a guy who can swing the bat, but just now making his 09 debut.
Yeah, the U.S. Cellular scouting report on the Reds' right-hander. He's got an average fastball, doesn't throw very hard. He's got some tail to it, but the Brewers should get some pitches up in the strike zone. Very good athlete, holds runners on pretty well, fields his position. And talking about another bat, I mean, this is a guy that could actually hit third or fourth in the lineup. A career .319 hitter. That's incredible.
Owings was traded from the Diamondbacks to the Reds last year. He was part of that Adam Dunn deal. Did not pitch for the Reds last year. He had shoulder issues the final 2 months of the season. He has not pitched in 10 days.
And for a control pitcher, that's ordinarily not very good. Guys like Micah Owings need constant work. That consistent to get out there on the mound, get that sinker down.
Craig Counsell back in there for the second straight game. Counsell led off and played second yesterday. He was on base twice, 0 for 3 at the plate with a walk. And called upon late here today. So one thing about Counsell, though, you always know he's ready to play. He's ready to go from the start.
And you can throw him in and anywhere on that infield. So he's very, very versatile. He'll give you some good at bats and always give you a very good defense.
Breaks his bat, little flare. Got a chance to fall. And he will fall. Counsell with a base hit. Well, that's the way the game goes, isn't it? After Weeks hits a rocket to center for an out, Counsell breaks his bat and a little flare that falls for a single.
And as much as the Brewer offense has struggled from time to time in this homestand, they have hit an awful lot of hard outs in this series. Particularly in the series, they did the same thing against the Cubs. But here's the equalizer right here. A little jam shot off the end of the bat. And that'll be a base hit for Counsell. So his night starts out pretty well.
Well, Rock, you commented earlier that you felt it was important for the Brewers to get off to a good start offensively. Try to play from the lead tonight.
Man, that's going to be important for Braden Looper. Although, you know, he's a veteran. He knows that he shouldn't have to worry too much about the offense. But it'd be nice to be able to get a nice 2 or 3 run lead early for Looper. Take that pressure off.
Here's Ryan Braun jumping on the first pitch.
Hasn't been that often on this homestand when the Brewers have been able to play out in front. Had a 5-1 lead first game of this series against the Reds. We're not able to hold it, but other than that, been playing from behind just about the entire homestand.
Cincinnati has handled the Brewers the last couple of years. Last year the Reds won 10 out of 18. And interestingly enough, they won 6 out of 9 here at Miller Park. Somehow that pitch missed Ryan Braun for ball 1.
And the Brewers were the only team in the National League Central that the Reds had a winning record against. Kind of interesting.
It is.
I mean, as good as the Brewers were within the division last year, the Reds beat them in the series.
Well, if you really want to dive into the stats, if they matter to you, the Brewers have not won a game this year when the opponent scores first. They are 0-4. Cincinnati's first road trip of the year. Dusty Baker talking about the importance of this trip. You hate to put too much stock into an April road trip, but Baker, because the Reds are going through the Central on this 3-city trip they're on. They start here in Milwaukee, they go to Houston next, and then Chicago. It's an 11-game trip in all. The Reds struggled mightily on the road last year, and specifically on the road in their division, with the exception of the Brewers. So Baker made it a point to his ball club that this means a great deal in the early going.
Well, you don't want to be too far behind the 8-ball once you get into May. And the Brewers could probably say the same thing on this road trip coming up, this 9-game, 10-day road trip.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing, right? The Brewers go on a 3-city trip through New York, Philadelphia, and then Houston. With the same kind of importance as they're off to a slow start. The Brewers, at best, will be 3-6. When they hit the road, two very difficult places to play in New York and in Philadelphia. Very good ball clubs there. Braun down the line. It's a base hit. Over to cut it off is Dickerson. Counsell into third. Ryan Braun with a double. And the Brewers in business in the first inning.
Yeah, sinker that he left out over the plate, and Ryan able to hit it hard down the line. Well, nice to see Ryan Braun turning on a fastball in the inner half. Once again, Micah Owens doesn't throw all that hard. I mean, he'll touch about 90 miles an hour, but that's about it. Relies on movement, and Ryan able to get that one before it moved too much.
So Braun's third double of the season. And the Crew with runners at second and third now. One out for Prince Fielder. Fielder 5 for 28 all the season. One of his 5 hits, a home run, homered here at Miller Park. And he's driven in 5 runs in the 8 games played. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Well, Ken Maka saw Fielder at the plate yesterday in a 2-0 count with the bases loaded. See if the results are a little different today. 3-0.
Well, the style of pitching is much different. Brunson and Royal really had the Brewers tied up all night. I mean, changing speeds in a similar count, 2-0 to Prince. Just kind of flipped up a BP fastball at about 82 miles an hour. Prince popped it up.
Arroyo went 6 1/3 last night. Fielder swings 3-0. A shot to center. That is going to be deep enough to score Counsell, and the Brewers take a first inning lead. 1-0 on Fielder's sacrifice fly.
Sacrifice line drive. So both outs that have been made in this inning have been hit right on the nose. Actually, the 2 outs have been hit harder than the 2 base hits. Boy, we've seen a lot of that on this series against the Reds. Balls like that, Prince hit that. You can't hit it any harder than that, but right at Tavares in center. He didn't have to move.
So the Brewers on top, 1-0. Fielder drives in his 6th run in the 9th game of the year. And here's Corey Hart. Hart was originally in the 2-hole for Ken Maka tonight. Once Hardy was scratched with a sore back, Hardy bumped down to the 5th spot, the protection spot for Fielder.
Well, you weren't sure what Maka was going to do, but you knew it wasn't going to be a straight up switch.
You weren't going to see Counsell batting behind Prince.
Yeah, in the number 5 spot, that wasn't going to happen. But you know, Ken made it easy on everybody, just flip flopping.
He could have just bumped everybody down 1 notch. See, and that's a nightmare on the scorecard.
That had been good.
Brewers used to have a minor league manager named Tim Ireland. You remember Tim Ireland?
I do.
Tim used to do that on purpose. He would have one lineup posted for the press, you know, for the media, the broadcasters. I remember Matt Vasgersian was in the league back then. Then he'd have another lineup for his players. He'd take them to home plate, exchange the lineups as Hart takes a strike, and then Ireland would look up to the press box and just laugh and point his finger.
Yeah, there's some National League managers that do that too. There's certain guys, certain managers in the National League, particularly in the Central Division, that always change their lineup right at the last minute. I'm not going to mention any names.
Don't want to incriminate anybody. Not Dusty Baker, though.
No.
Dusty Baker, he'll give you his lineup 3-4 days in advance. Hard into left center. Dickerson makes the play for the out. And again, but Brewers get a run on 2 hits. We head to the second, 1-0 Crew. Looper retired the Reds in order in the first. He's got Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, and Edwin Encarnacion due up here in the second. Cincinnati at 4-3 on the year. They played 1 fewer game than most big league clubs. They lost a game due to weather against the Pirates on their last homestand. They'll be making that game up down the road. Looper throwing a lot of strikes and working quickly in the early going.
And a good thing to see right away is he's got that sinker down in the strike zone. He's been pretty good on the corners. That's the key. Get ahead and then get to that split-fingered fastball. That's how he gets his strikeouts.
Looper was impressive in his Brewers debut back on Friday against the Cubs. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, just 1 run. He did walk 4, and he commented after the game that that is uncharacteristic for what he normally sees. And you have to chalk some of that wildness up to the fact that he hadn't pitched much. You know, he only pitched in 2 A games in spring training, pitched in 3 minor league games, but Looper showed good stuff. Had a good splitter against the Cubs on Friday.
Yeah, keep that pitch down in the strike zone and get it around the dirt. You can see when he's on the corners, he can be tough. But the 4 walks, as you mentioned, very unusual for Looper.
So Looper strikes out Phillips. Second strikeout of the game, and 4 straight retired.
And almost 200 innings, 199 innings for Looper last year with the Cardinals. Only 45 walks to go along with 108 strikeouts. The pitch was up, but it was right on the outside corner.
Last year, Looper, a 12-game winner for the Cardinals. He was 12-14, 4.16 ERA. As Bruce, a little dribbler. It's going to be a tough play. Looper bare hands, tags him out. Good play by Braden Looper, and With the injury he suffered this spring, that oblique injury, you want to take an extra look to make sure he's okay. Might have gotten spiked.
Yeah, the way he went after that, he actually grabbed it with his bare hand and maybe tagged Jay Bruce with that same bare hand when he went by. That's the way you jam a wrist. Looked like he's going to be all right. Of course, here comes Dan Wright and Ken Maka. That's not good news. That's not what you want to see.
And you can understand why the Brewers very cautious with Looper after what he went through this spring. It's a frustrating spring training for Braden Looper, but he's a tough country boy. He's from Oklahoma. He says, I'm all right. If a position player makes a play like this, you don't think anything of it. I think the issue is that he got stepped on.
Well, it could have been one of a number of different things for Looper. Reached down, maybe the ribs kind of pulled a little bit. Who knows?
Well, 2 outs, 5 in a row retired by Looper, and he pumps a strike in there to Edwin Encarnacion. Pitchers are like quarterbacks, you know, if they could put a red jersey on them, they do it.
I don't know if Braden Looper would want the red jersey. He doesn't look like he minds.
He's a guy who would probably like to mix it up a little bit. He's been impressive. His attitude, the way he handles himself in the clubhouse and with his teammates, to come into a new clubhouse, new teammates. He's fit right in.
Acts like a veteran, not a guy that says a whole lot. Pretty quiet.
Looper is from a baseball family. His uncle Benny Looper, longtime farm director in the Seattle organization. And Braden had a cousin, Benny's son, Aaron Looper, who was a pitcher. A brief time in the big leagues.
Big dude, 6'3", 234. Weatherford, Oklahoma. You know where that is?
Yeah. Weatherford.
You do, huh?
Not too far off I-35. That's where the tumbleweed really picks up speed.
Not a lot of hills there.
On the plains. Encarnacion in the air. And what a welcome sight this is. 6 up, 6 down to start it. Braden Looper rolling right along. The Brewers have a 1-0 lead. Have another day off Monday, so Ken Maka able to juggle his starting rotation a little bit because of the 2 off days coming up. As Mike Cameron leads the way against Owings. Dave Bush will start Friday's game in New York against the Mets, and then it's going to be Giovanni Gallardo against Johan Santana in a day game at Citi Field in New York. Jeff Suppan bumped back to Sunday's outing. Cameron, the former Red, wearing the 42 well tonight. Back when Jackie Robinson Day first began in baseball and players had the option, Cameron was the only guy to wear 42 when he was playing for the Mets.
Now they're all wearing 42. Everybody in baseball, including the umpires, have 42 on. You know, if the Brewers get double-digit runs tonight, they're probably going to campaign to see if they ought to wear 42 in New York. You know how superstitious players are.
I'm telling you. Well, it was when it first started, it was one guy could wear it, and then it was optional whoever wanted to wear it, and then this year, for the first time, it's mandatory that all uniforms 42, not just with players.
Next year, you and I are going to have a 42 on our jackets.
I would love that. We don't have to buy that, do we? Cameron takes a ball, 3-2 the count. Cameron into left field. That was well hit. Dickerson back. Goodbye, Mike Cameron. A solo home run, and the Brewers lead it 2-0.
What a nice short stroke for Cam. Didn't overswing at all. Just threw the hands at that baseball, and boy, did it ever jump off that bat. Sinker up. And Cameron, nice short stroke. See how short that was? Didn't overswing. A line drive bullet. So the Brewers are getting some pretty good hacks off of Michael Owings so far. Even the outs have been hit hard.
Into the soup at Friday's Grill out there as Cameron belts his second home run of the season. And it's 2-0 Milwaukee. Hit 25 last year, did Cameron. Part of that Brewers outfield that could log 80 home runs this year. That would be something, wouldn't it? With Braun and Cameron and Hart. That's a realistic goal for these three. Hall gets jammed. Ball had some English on it. Votto makes a nice play to get out number 1. We'll see how the Reds line up behind Micah Owings tonight. Back in the lineup is the shortstop Alex Gonzalez and catcher Ramon Hernandez. Dickerson gets the call against the right-handed starter Braden Looper. Defense brought to you by Menards. 2-0 Crew. Fielder drove in a run in the first on a sac fly, and Cameron a home run just moments ago. Now it's Jason Kendall. Kendall has 2 hits this year, both coming in this series, and both coming in one game. That was the opener of this set with Cincinnati.
Notice something different about Jason tonight?
Is it clean shaven?
Clean shaven. Haven't seen him clean shaven for a long time.
He looks so much younger.
Yes.
It's the rally shave.
And talking to Jason before the ball game today, feeling much better. Last couple of days he's been having a bout with the flu. You know, not feeling 100%, a little nauseous, but certainly not enough to keep that guy out of the lineup. Takes a lot more than that.
Kendall will be 34 years of age this year. Former all-star catcher. Beats that one into the ground. Gonzalez handles it for out number 2. The one thing about Micah Owings on the mound tonight for the Reds, it's going to be important, as you said, Rock, to get a good start, because you have to figure as he settles in a little bit. Remember, this is his first start of the year, and his last game pitched was in Sarasota in spring training on the 5th of April. So as he goes, you would imagine him settling in a little bit.
Yeah, sinker ballers, as we talked about, like to get that arm a little bit tired, and when it does, after a number of pitches, a couple innings, ball has some pretty good sink on it. That's why you got to get him early.
Looper over to Votto, and it's Owings covering. So 3 up, 3 down after the home run. Mike Cameron delivers one into the grill. 2-0 Brewers on Cameron's second home run of the season. American TV. American. Huge selection. Real service. The low price guaranteed. Beautiful Miller Park in Milwaukee. Mike Cameron has increased the lead to 2-0. A solo home run for Cameron to lead off the second inning. 2 runs on 3 Brewer hits. And here we go to the third. Braden Looper back on the mound for the Crew. He'll have the bottom of the order here. Ramon Hernandez, Alex Gonzalez, and Micah Owings. Looper has retired 6 straight with 2 strikeouts. Has been very efficient with his pitches. That is pitch number 28. And Rock, 18 of those strikes.
And well located strikes as well.
Old chopper. Hernandez doesn't run well. Hall, the bare hand pickup, not in time. That's an infield hit. Hall, who made a great play last night, one of the best in baseball last night, almost came up with a spectacular one here tonight.
Well, Billy was behind the bag because Hernandez not going to bunt because he doesn't run all that well. A little bit of a swinging bunt in front of home plate. No real chance for Billy. See how far he has to go, but made it relatively close. That's tough play.
That'll be an infield hit for Hernandez. I would imagine a rare infield hit in his career. Hernandez, you know, when he's running to first on a play like that, it probably looks like that Hitchcock hallway, you know, like it never actually gets to you.
Keeps getting smaller as it gets as you get out there.
Exactly.
I know how he feels.
Oh yeah. Chance for 2 here. Counsell flips it to Weeks. The turn is in time. So Looper wipes it out with a double play ball. The Brewers turn it 6-4-3 in 2 quick outs.
And the problems offensively for Gonzalez continue. He still is hitless on the year. Nice adjustment by Ricky. That throw a little bit to the left field side of second base, but Ricky able to make the adjustment and turn that easy double play. Ricky looking pretty good right now. Not a whole lot of sign of that lump he had around his lip.
Now, Weeks took a fastball from Edinson Volquez on a Monday night right to the jaw. He had some swelling in that jaw yesterday. It looks pretty good today. A lot of ice, I would imagine. No dental work necessary. He was wearing a mouthpiece.
He's one of the toughest guys around. There's no doubt about that. He and Mike Matheny. Everybody remembers Mike Matheny taking a fastball from Rich Loisel right in the chops. Never went down, spit out a couple of teeth and went in the dugout. Came out of that game, but played the next day.
Tough guy. Michigan guy. The 1-2 to Owings. Fires the bat. It's strike 3 and a foul bat. And Owings is down on strikes. The third strikeout for Looper. So a good inning for Braden Looper. Side retired. The Brewers off to a good start tonight. 2-0 Milwaukee. And the Brewers coming to Hey, nice Badger. That is a Badger, isn't it?
It is. Looks like it. At least it was one.
Two to nothing, the Brewers lead. Top of the order. That's a good lid, Rock. I mean, you're a kind of a hat guy.
Yeah, I love hats. I never actually wore an animal on my head. Not on purpose.
Keeps you warm on a cool night.
Yeah.
Ricky Weeks down, no balls, 2 strikes quickly as we play the bottom of the 3rd inning. Weeks, Counsell, and Braun. The Brewers with single runs in the first 2 innings. He could use an animal hat. Micah Owings ready for the 1-2. And Weeks is gone. That one had some bite to it. And Weeks, the first strikeout victim.
Now you can see when he tires just a little bit and gets on top of that fastball, he's got some sink to it. First time we've really seen the ball sink for Owings tonight.
Well, make WMLW and the inside pitch your pregame warm-up before the start of every Brewers game on MLW. Get your latest updates on your favorite team. The inside pitch just before every Brewers game on WMLW. The game's on us. David Nelson, some great insights today on Jackie Robinson Day. All players wearing number 42. Don't adjust your dials. And you need binoculars with some of them to figure out who they are.
It was hard to tell that Craig Counsell was actually at shortstop. You had to do a double take, but you could tell right away. They all have their own mannerisms, don't they? After you've seen them a number of times, and year after year, you can see right away when that ball went up and Craig caught it. That's not JJ out there.
A late lineup change for Ken Maka. Hardy scratched with a sore back.
That might have been the latest of lineup changes that I'd ever seen. I mean, scoreboard didn't even have the change.
So late, press box had to call down to Ken Maka between innings. I didn't know he took phone calls between innings from the press box. Counsell inserted into the lineup. Hart dropped from second to fifth as Hardy sits. Hitters count for Counsell, and he hits that one deep to right center field. Craig Counsell way back, and it's caught at the wall. Almost. Second out of the inning.
On Sunday, May 3rd, catch your Brewers in action as they take the field against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The game starts at 1:05. Be there as all fans through the gate get a collectible Ryan Braun bobblehead. That's compliments of Time Warner Cable.
Say hi to our friends from Time Warner Cable. Barry Hurd,
David Senkemy, and the gang.
If you don't have extra innings yet, that is a must. It's the only way that keeps us going through the baseball season. We're able to follow all the games and love the extra innings package.
Got home late last night and caught the end of the Diamondbacks Cardinals game. That was a wild one. Just can't get enough baseball.
Braun doubled his last time up. Two hits in that first inning for the Brewers. Counsell had singled and Braun doubled. Fielder drove in Counsell with a sacrifice fly, or as Rock says, a sacrifice line drive. He hit a rocket out to center field. Counsell scored easily, and then Cameron led off the second with a long ball. Cameron's second home run of the year. Braun takes another walk. We've been doing a lot of that this year. That is a good sign. So Ryan walks, the inning extends, and it'll get Prince Fielder an at-bat against Owens.
They're not going to throw you strikes. Don't get yourself out by swinging at bad pitches, and you don't have a bad guy behind you in that lineup to drive you in if they walk you. It'd be nice to see Ryan and Prince around the 100 walk total this year. Ronnie's already walked 6 times.
Yeah, both hitters have stated that as one of their goals this year. More walks.
Prince has walked 7 times.
For Ryan Braun, it's about plate discipline. Fielder's going to get his walks. He hits behind Braun. You know, Braun's going to see more strikes than Fielder typically. All depends on how the 5th hitter performs. But Prince offers great protection for Ryan Braun, which also means a lot more hittable pitches. Remember last year, to start the year, Braun and Fielder were flip-flopped in the lineup. Prince hitting 3rd, Braun hitting 4th. That lasted about 3 weeks.
Well, to talk about walks so far this year, the Brewers are #1 in the National League in drawing walks. That's something in years past you'd never be able to say. Yeah, Ryan Braun only 42 walks last year. Prince at 84.
Fielder up there to hitter's count once again.
I want to thank Mike Faulkner for that stat.
He's the best. He used to give me that kind of stuff.
It's the first time you haven't hand checked him when he passed one over.
Three balls, no strikes to Fielder. Now Fielder swung away 3-0 last time up. See what he does here. The way Corey Hart's been swinging the bat, you would imagine Fielder a little more selective. And he takes ball 4. So the Brewers with back-to-back walks with 2 outs in the 3rd. They'll send up one of their hottest hitters in Corey Hart. Hart had a 5-game hit streak snapped last night, but he did walk twice.
You've seen a lot of that. Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder being walked back to back. It's going to be important for whoever's behind him to do something this year, or that's going to happen all season. Remember, David Weathers did that in the first game of this series, a triple with 2 outs. They walked Ryan and Prince, but JJ hit a bullet in the right center that got caught.
That was in game 1. Now Hart was among league leaders in doubles last year. He finished 3rd in the National League in doubles with 45. He was just 1 off the National League high. Nate McLouth and Lance Berkman both had 46 doubles. Big hack at a slider, and it's 1-2.
And it took a little bit off. As you mentioned, Owings seems to be able to put the ball where he wants to a little bit better in this inning. Good pitch. See how far in front Corey is on that.
Hart with 2 outs and 2 strikes and 2 on, and he fouls one away. Well, Hart's been good with 2 strikes this year. 2 of his 3 home runs with 2 strikes. All 3 of his long balls here at Miller Park and on this homestand. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gonzalez will take the easy way at second, and the side retired Brewers strand a pair. Well, we'll have Bob Uecker joining us here in the broadcast booth when we continue to talk about the legacy left by the great Merl Harmon.
He was one of the best. He really was. You know, not so much what he did as a job, you know, with broadcasting. I mean, he did football. He was an outstanding football announcer too. He used to do the Jets games, but he was a great human being. I mean, humanitarian, and I couldn't have broke in with a better guy. I mean, he was one of those guys that kind of let you run. We did some really weird things in those first few years on the broadcast, but Merl was one of the best people I've ever been around, and it's a sad day for wife Jeanette and Keith and all the Harmon family. But I have some great memories and great thoughts about Merl. I mean, I did some stuff with Merl Harmon in the booth like we can't talk about it. I mean, I only did it to bust him up when he was on the air, when he was talking. I did these things to him, but I know Billy. We used to do a thing. I don't know where Merl came up with this idea, but he did. He would pick out a place, someplace, any place in the world. It didn't have to be in this country. And he'd talk about me just coming back from some convention, you know, wherever this place was. And he never told me where I was going to be, though. I mean, you know, one day there was a coffin convention in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania or something, and I would do this whole thing about these coffin races they had with wheels, and I went there and was a judge at the finish line. And you know, it got to a point where people actually started wondering and sending letters, how can I get to these places and get back to the broadcast the next night, you know? And I mean, we made it work. It worked for a long time. We did it for about a year and a half when I finally said, we got to stop this. You know?
So we got you going on all that kind of thing, right?
Well, yeah.
As Taveras starts the inning with a base hit. Well, and I would imagine that, knowing Merl as I do, because as I said when we hit the air tonight, I know him from Texas as the voice of the Southwest Conference, the voice of the Texas Rangers, and he was such a straight-laced, polished guy. He was such a good man, and all the adjectives you have for Harry Kalas, you could just replace Harry Kalas with Merl Harmon. That's true. The way people thought about it.
Yeah, I took care of the weird stuff. Merl didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't do anything. I took care of all that stuff, you know. But he was, as I said, I couldn't have broke in with a better guy. I mean, he was very gracious with his time, and we did a lot of things together. I mean, we really hung around together on the road. We went out to eat a lot, and I told a story earlier tonight. There was another guy that worked on the telecast broadcast at that time named Tom Collins, another great friend. Rocky, you know him.
Yeah.
And I was allowed to do one inning at that time, and I had them as a crutch. You know, Tom and Merl would sit in the booth while I did the fifth, and everything was okay because I could talk to them and try to do play-by-play. I'd never done it before, and I'd done everything else. You know, I'd done all this other stuff, but I was afraid to do play-by-play. I kept thinking about my friends in Milwaukee, talking about, listen to this idiot. You know, he used to live with us. You know, what's he doing? And one day in New York City, at Yankee Stadium, they got up in the fifth inning. Merl introduced me, and they got up in the fifth inning and they left me. And I begged them. to come back. I had my finger on the cough button so nobody else could hear me, and I actually begged them to come back, and they wouldn't come back. And the engineer finally said to me, you better start talking because there's 1 out. And I hadn't said a word yet. I just kept asking them, please come back, please come back. And they wouldn't. They left me there, and that was my, you know, kind of baptism, you know, into doing play-by-play by myself. And I sounded like the Chipmunks. You know, I talked about everything that I saw in the whole ballpark.
Left you on the hot seat to fend for yourself. He knew you were a survivor.
Well, you know, it was funny, Brian, because I did all the other stuff. I've been doing Tonight Show and all the other stuff. You know, I mean, not that I'm a big deal, but I had done that. That didn't make me nervous. I mean, that I could go do, but doing play-by-play of something that I played, you know, and knew enough about was just I couldn't do it. I mean, I did it later on, but it was just that was a gagger for me.
Yeah, what's one thing that when you think about Merl Harmon you think of? I mean, what did he help you at? I mean, what were some of the things that you use today when you're broadcasting?
Well, you know what he did? Bill? He as we moved on, and as I said, I did color when I first started, and that, you know, that's tough enough when you're doing radio because you know, you don't have a lot of time to do the color. But
As Dickerson flies out for out number 1. Go ahead, Luke.
Merl was always gracious with his time, Bill. You know, I mean, here's a guy that, you know, he was doing big-time football. He was doing the Jets football and doing baseball here. He went to Texas, as Brian said. I mean, he did everything. He did basketball, football, baseball. But Merl Harmon was a friend. I mean, a pal. That's more than a friend.
Right.
I mean, Merl Harmon was a pal for me. And yeah, his family, his wife Jeanette, and all the kids. You know, I knew them, you know, growing up. And he was just one of those guys that went out of his way to make you feel comfortable.
Votto sends one to the gap as Taveras on his way to third. So Joey Votto with a base hit, the second hit of the inning, and the Reds have 2 on with 1 out. Visiting with the great Bob Uecker as we talk about Merl Harmon.
You know, he's one of those guys too. Just told you to do your thing. You know, just go ahead and do it. Don't worry about us, and just do whatever you want. You
Don't
know,
try
you're
and be
gonna
like
make
somebody
mistakes.
else.
Exactly.
Right? Make your own thing.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you're going to make mistakes, and I never cared too much about it, but I wanted to try and, you know, be like Merl or be like Tom Collins. I mean, we had a lot of fun in the booth for sure. You know Tom Collins,
yeah,
Billy, and we had a great
times
booth.
were different back then, weren't they?
I'm telling you, we did. We had a lot of fun, and but as I said, I remember Merl as a great human being. I mean, he never said a bad word about anybody. He just couldn't.
Now he's got a son that works for TMJ, Keith Harmon, right?
Keith, yep.
Good pickup by Hall. And a double play. Well, Bob, we know you got to get back to the radio. Thanks for a brief moment. It's great to have you with us, especially at moments like this. You know,
thanks for having me over here. I appreciate that, Cal. Thanks a lot, Billy. Thank you. Okay,
Bob
guys.
Uecker. The second inning. Braden Looper has been good. 4 innings. He's given up just 3 hits and has 3 strikeouts thus far. 4 shutout innings for the Brewers starter. It's good to get a few minutes with Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
You could spend all day talking with Uecker, but it was great to get his thoughts on Merl Harmon. I know a lot of fans, I know a lot of you out there revered Merl Harmon in a special way like we do here. And Bob Uecker, it's good to hear from him today on his old partner. Cameron launches another one. This one is way out of here. A no-doubter from Mike Cameron. 3-0 Brewers. Cameron's second bolt of the ballgame.
Now that looked like a slider that hung up in the zone and another short stroke. How about Cameron? Goodness, was that ball crushed? Right down the middle of the plate. Cameron gets the extension, and that bat does the rest. Well, you talk about a nice short stroke. There's a perfect example out there, folks. You don't have to swing hard to hit a ball very far. Point of contact, and Mike Cameron having a heck of a night.
Hall swinging at the first pitch, pops it foul to Votto for out number 1.
Hardly any movement with those hands until that bat goes toward the baseball. I mean, that's a classic stroke right there.
Well, in case you didn't see the graphic that went by, Cameron, for the 14th time in his career, a multi-home run game. Of course, he had a 4-home run game in his career when he was a member of the Mariners. He's part of that exclusive club. He did it last year with the Brewers in May. That was in Houston. That was soon after he returned to the Brewers in May.
This is all bonus right here. Remember, Cameron did not play much for the Brewers in April last year.
And still belted 25 home runs.
Yeah.
Cameron with 42 on his back and the pant legs up to the knees. Remembering Jackie Robinson in his attire today. 2 long balls. It's 3-0 Brewers. One thing that always strikes me about Mike Cameron when you see him, watch him take batting practice or fly balls. It's hard to believe he's 36 years of age. I mean, he's built like
he's in
a
great
guy in his
shape.
mid-20s.
Yeah.
You would think he could play forever the way he's built.
And you know the other thing about Cameron, have you ever seen him really have a bad day?
Never.
I mean, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always got something nice to say about somebody. Yeah, the amazing thing about Cam, you know, we'll take you taking batting practice on the road. There'll be some fans giving him the business.
Nice play, Gonzalez, and the fire to first, and it's in time. It looked like Votto pulled his foot off the bag. As Diaz didn't see it that way, but from here, it did not look like Votto kept his foot on the base.
So what a play by Alex Gonzalez. You can wonder why a guy can stay in the lineup without any base hits. That's why right there. A nice pick by Joey Votto, and that's a heck of a play at shortstop. Unfortunately, Jason just not able to get there in time. Might have pulled the foot, but it looked like the ball beat Jason by maybe a quarter step. Pretty close at first, but Las Diaz right there. Maybe the end of the cleat was on first base. You don't know.
Has he got the extra long Ty Cobb spikes, maybe?
Well, getting back to a nice pick at first base. How about that pick by Prince to end that last inning? That ball bobbles. It gets bobbled. That's a run.
That sure is. The Reds with 2 on and 1 out. Looper induces the 5-4-3 double play, and Fielder dug one out. He's done that a few times this year. Braden Looper, a line shot right at Gonzalez. So the inning ends, but Mike Cameron back at work at the plate. He launched one in the second inning, his second of the year. And then to lead off the fourth goes way back, 3-0 Brewers. was the last Brewer to wear 42?
I think I know that one.
Well, you are on a roll here.
I think I do.
Nice. Well, Jay Bruce leads off. It is 3-0 Milwaukee. Looper with 4 shutout innings. He's given up 3 hits.
Can I give some hints?
Sure, go ahead, Rob.
Left-handed pitcher.
Left-handed pitcher.
That's it.
So that narrows it down for you. Have the answer for you in a little bit. Ball and 2 strikes on Bruce. Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. That's why all the players wearing number 42. Fielder ranging far in the hole. Fires to Looper in time.
Nice.
What a play. Oh, man.
Boy, how about Prince ranging far over into the hole? Over towards second base. I think Ricky Weeks would have had a play on it, but Prince had the easier of the 2 plays. Ricky, I don't know if he would have got there, but how about the play by Braden Looper? He gets there in good shape, able to make the catch. Prince gets it to him as quickly as he can. That's the key to that play. A good throw and foot on the bag before Bruce gets there.
How about the footwork from Fielder? Chopping the feet to get stopped. Tough hop that Hall handles at third. And Encarnacion is out. Billy has had to deal with some wicked hops at third base the last couple of days. He handled a tough one right there for out number 2.
Well, he made a nice play on that double play off the bat of Brandon Phillips. Took a tricky hop on him. He backhanded and made a nice throw to second that time. That one came up on him too.
So 2 up and 2 down for Braden Looper. Looper is very athletic. It's one of the reasons he swings the bat so well. He's just a good ball player. You know, Looper growing up was always the guy who pitched and hit right in the middle of the order, drove in all the runs. And he's transferred that to the big leagues. He came up as a closer. Matter of fact, he pitched exclusively out of the bullpen. His first 572 games in the big leagues were out of the bullpen before he switched to a starting pitcher in St. Louis 2 seasons ago. This is his 3rd year as a starter.
Yeah, had over 100 saves as a closer.
Has had to adjust his delivery and adjust how he pitches. When he came up in the Cardinals organization, even though he was in the big leagues, kind of made a name for himself in Florida. He was originally a Cardinals farmhand. He was a flamethrower. I'm talking upper 90s, triple digits kind of guy.
Yeah, triple digits with that split-fingered fastball, but you know, as a starter, you can't throw that hard that long. Not many can.
Remember Rick Mailer?
I do.
The late Rick Mailer. He managed Looper in the minor leagues in the Cardinals system, and once, and this never happens anymore with prospects, he once used Looper to close games, close a doubleheader, both ends of a doubleheader, pitched twice on the same day. And we asked Mailer the next day, why'd you use your big prospect twice in one day? He said, triple digits. Triple digits, that's what he had to say, because he threw so hard it was automatic. Hernandez with his 2nd hit against Looper. All right, how about our Subway trivia? Who was the last Brewer player to wear jersey 42? Rock says left-handed pitcher, and there you go, Scott Carl. Where is Scott Carl these days? This is when you need Davey Nelson on the broadcast. He'd tell us exactly where Scott Carl is.
That's right. Davey Nelson, head of the Brewers Alumni Association. Last time I saw Scott Carl, it was in San Diego, and he was walking in the concourse in the stands. I could see him from the press box. So I think he's somewhere in California.
Good call. That's crack journalism right there.
He's probably
last seen in California.
He's at Petco Park walking the concourse.
Deductive reasoning there. Very well done. They're all wearing 42 tonight. Mo Vaughn used to wear 42. I'm trying to think if there's anybody left other than Mariano Rivera.
I think he's it.
He's the last one. Right?
Yeah. It was Mo Vaughn and Rivera, and Mo is no longer playing. Well, you'd think he'd never be thinking this, but this is the guy that Braden Looper wants to get right here. Alex Gonzalez. You've got Micah Owings on deck.
On most nights, you are careful to the 8th place hitter to deal with the pitcher, but not with Owings and the way he swings the bat.
They have 5 career home runs and a batting average for his career at almost 320.
Gonzalez still hitless on the year. He is 0 for 1 tonight, 0 for 17 in 2009. Dusty Baker gave him the day off yesterday. That one's in the right center. That is down for a hit. That's going to go to the wall. Hernandez around third. He does not run well. The peg to the plate is cut off. And Gonzalez, first hit of the season, delivers a run for the Reds. It's 3-1 Milwaukee.
Now leave one out over the plate, and Gonzalez able to rifle it into right center. Good piece of hitting by the Reds shortstop. As you mentioned, first hit of the year turns into an RBI. Looked like a slider that didn't do a whole lot. Outer half, it looked as though Gonzalez was leaning out there looking for something away from him, and he finds the gap, and the Reds are on the board.
Base hit number 5 for Cincinnati. They've out-hit the Brewers now, 5-4. And here's Owings taking a mighty rip. Owings, despite not pitching this year for the Reds, he has swung the bat. He's been called upon twice to pinch hit for Dusty Baker. And remember, last year down the stretch of the pennant chase, Owings pinch hit against CC Sabathia and delivered a 2 RBI double in Cincinnati. That was that Saturday afternoon game that looked like ended the Brewer chances for a postseason.
Well, he's also got a pinch hit home run in his career.
Matter of fact, his ties with the Brewers along those pinch hit home run lines connect him to Brooks Kieschnick. Owings was the first pitcher to produce a pinch hit homer since Kieschnick did it with the Crew back at 04.
And how many pitchers go back to the on deck circle to get pine tar?
Acting like a hitter. Got it. Looper strikes him out for the second time. Looper bends a little, gives up a run on 2 hits. But that's all. 3-1 Crew.
fantastic deal. Get one Terrace reserve ticket to select Brewer games at Miller Park and one reserve bleacher ticket to select Timber Rattlers games in Appleton, plus a special t-shirt, all for just $15. For details, go to brewers.com/Timber Rattlers or call 414-902-4000.
Speaking of Time Warner, ballpark that the T-Rats playing up there in Appleton.
Yeah.
Time Warner Field. And the new affiliation. That's a great deal, isn't it? The Brewers single A franchise now in the state of Wisconsin in Appleton. They've had a nice history. They've had great players come through Appleton, guys like Alex Rodriguez. Now the Brewers prospects are there. And they'll be playing a game here on the road trip right here at Miller Park.
Yep, Cutter Dykstra's up there.
That's right. Brett Laurie, the #1 pick last year. Weeks to open the inning. A pop up to Votto in foul territory. One away. Weeks is 0 for 3. Brewers with a run in the first inning. Fielder drove Counsell home with a sac fly. And then Cameron with 2 home runs. That last one registered 410 feet. Brewers trying to salvage the final game of the series and hit the road with a win under their belt. Counsell singled and scored in the first. He flew out to deep right center. Last inning, the third.
He's got much more pop in his bat this year. You know, that change in his batting stance. He's got that bat a little bit lower. And pulling the ball with some authority. That's about as far as we've seen Craig hit a baseball.
Counsell starting for the second straight game. He was in there at second base last night. Gets the call at shortstop for this one. He was a late add to the lineup. If you're just joining us, J.J. Hardy was scratched just before the first pitch. They strained back. Just watching J.J. in the dugout tonight and the mannerisms, it just looks like he's going to be all right. You know, he's still cutting up a little bit.
Well, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you get today off, you get the team day off tomorrow, so 2 days for one. Just want to make sure they're going to have JJ all season long. Too valuable, so you miss one game in April, no big deal.
Two and two to Counsell. Down he goes. Cooper rings him up.
Hit a big zone tonight. I mean, that pitch looked like it was a little bit off the plate. He called one earlier in that at bat a little bit up in the zone. We've been talking about the walks and the small strike zones. I'm not sure how you call that a strike. That ball looked low and outside.
Now, Rock, I know how you like movies. You're going to love this. This TV, that is, with free over-the-air movies 7 days a week. This serving southeastern Wisconsin on over-the-air digital 58.3. Big movie guy you are. Doug Melvin's a big movie guy.
I like movies. I'm not big on going to the movie theater, though.
No.
You know, I don't like spending that kind of money.
and then you have to deal with the public.
I can't
big celebrity like yourself.
I can't resist the popcorn.
Everybody buying you
no, it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Sodas and popcorn.
No.
Gets embarrassing.
I actually popped in a James Bond movie this afternoon while I was packing up.
Is that right? VHS?
Packing no. Well, you're painting me as an old crotchety man, aren't you?
That's true. I'm sorry.
Come on, I'm not that old.
You're a tremendous slouch.
Thunderball, if you're wondering.
I was wondering.
It's my favorite Bond movie.
Have you evolved into the iTunes rental movies yet?
I have done that.
That's good.
I have done that.
That's a good option.
I think I might do that for the trip tomorrow.
Got a trip tomorrow?
New York?
New York tomorrow. Braun into right center. And laying out is Bruce, and he makes a great catch. Wow. Did he ever close the gap? Jay Bruce robs Ryan Braun of extra bases. And the side retire. That was something special from the Reds right fielder. Just robbing Ryan Braun of extra bases. What a play from Bruce to end the last inning run.
Well, you talk about catching up and making up for. He just basically outran that baseball. Jay Bruce had a tough offensive series. He's hit a home run his first time up and hadn't done much since, but a lot of different ways to win a ball game. I thought Ryan Braun had at least a double.
And if that gets by him the way Bruce laid out for it, it's an easy triple. Think about the Reds. Dusty Baker was telling us before the series started. All three of his outfielders have center field experience. Dickerson, Taveras, and Bruce. All three of those guys have played center field, so you know they can go get them. And a very fast outfield. And it showed right there. Bruce, who played center a lot last year with Ken Griffey Jr. in right, covered some kind of ground in right center.
And he's got plenty of arm to play right field consistently in the major leagues.
The Reds feel like they are better defensively this year, and they like their young pitching staff, and they do have a bona fide ace in Aaron Harang. The Brewers fortunate not to see Harang. His last start was against the Pirates, and he shut him out. A three-hit shutout, complete game.
Well, the three pitchers that have faced the Brewers in this series have been good enough, let alone the ace of the staff.
And tonight's starter, Micah Owings, is the fifth starter in that rotation. It's Harang, then Volquez, Bronson Arroyo, and Johnny Cueto. Ball and 2 strikes in on Taveras. Looper has been good tonight for the Brewers. He's given up just the 1 run on 5 Cincinnati hits. That looked like it hit him. That got a piece of Taveras, who is on for the second time. So the Reds have a leadoff runner aboard.
Yeah, fastball in, and Willie Taveras, any way he can get on is a bonus for Cincinnati, because you hit him, it's a double.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Good crowd tonight on a Wednesday in Milwaukee. Spring break for a lot of the kids in the area. Brewers hit the road tomorrow, start a series on Friday. That one's well hit. Dickerson to deep right field, and all of a sudden we're tied. One swing of the bat, Chris Dickerson evens the score. Dickerson's first home run of the year.
And first pitch fastball, Dickerson not about to wait around. Looper's done a nice job getting ahead. These Reds realizing that they're getting strike one, so Dickerson all over it, up in the zone, and pulls it, hits it out of here by plenty.
So a brand new ball game, all tied at 3. Dickerson's first home run, now with 3 RBIs on the season. Reds have played good baseball in this series. They were able to come back from a 4-run deficit in the opener. They were down 5-1 early against the Brewers, but scored 6 runs in the 3rd inning on Monday. Came back and won that game 7-6. Last night it was a tight game until the 9th. It was 3-1. The Reds added 3 runs in the 9th inning to put it out of reach. Takes a strike, doesn't like the call from Eric Cooper.
There's been a lot of that. I mean, everybody complained about how tight the strike zone is, but Eric Cooper is a little bit liberal. Hitters don't like that. Pitchers love it.
Catchers do too, except when they're hitting.
That's right. But Eric Cooper tonight, though, ordinarily an umpire will give you the high strike and not the low one, but he's called some low strikes, he's called some high strikes, and one on counts that it looked like it was off the plate.
I'm all for umpires calling strikes.
Yeah,
I think it changes the complexion of the game, just the mentality of a hitter. If he knows there's an umpire who has an open zone or a bigger zone, and they're going to call more strikes, they're up there swinging the bats.
That's one big difference between baseball now and baseball 20 years ago. I mean, hitters are taking pitches almost until they have to swing, working the count.
You ever go back and watch some of those old games, you know, the games that are airing on MLB Network or on iTunes? You can get. I watched the Don Larson perfect game recently. It was amazing how few pitches he threw. They were up there just swinging the bats.
7 pitch innings weren't that all that uncommon even back in the 70s.
And hitters rarely backed out of the box. Pitchers rarely backed off the mound between pitches.
It's not like that anymore. You wonder why pitch counts are 100 pitches in about 5 or 6 innings. That's why. I mean, the pitchers aren't faultless. I mean, they do kind of try and keep the ball off the white of the plate, but hitters are taking pitches now more than they ever have.
Bill Castro out to talk it over with Looper and give DeFelice a chance. Phillips grounded into a double play back in the 4th. They went 5-4-3. Big cut from Phillips. Ball and a strike. Looper against the Cubs his last time out back on Friday. Went 5 innings and 97 pitches. He's in the 6th here against the Reds and at 84 pitches. In the air to center, playable for Cameron. And that is the first out of the inning.
Well, the thing that's been able to keep his pitch count down was his first 3 innings. I mean, he was relatively flawless in the first 3. Actually, what was it, 18 pitches through 2 innings? Reds came out of the gates today really swinging the bat, swinging it early.
Cincinnati with 6 hits to go along with their 3 runs. Looper retired the first 6 with 2 strikeouts in those first 2 innings. And it faced the minimum through 3. Dangerous hitter here, Jay Bruce. Bruce has already made a spectacular catch in this game. Diving catch, robbing Braun of extra bases, most likely a triple, at least a double.
And then taking the bat out of Prince's hands with a man in scoring position.
And the grass stains to show for it. One thing we saw from Bruce last year, he has very good opposite field power. He and Votto, they're 2 left-handed hitters that play every day. A couple of guys who hang in there and drive the ball to the opposite field.
We haven't seen much of that from either one of them so far in this series.
Bruce out in front of one, and down he goes. Looper strikes him out. Took a lot off that pitch, and it's out number 2.
Good split-fingered fastball, straight down, right down the heart of the plate. Brayden Looper with a pretty good start to his evening tonight. I mean, pounding the strike zone, good sinkers, getting ahead, throwing the splitter to put the red hitters away. He's got 4 strikeouts on the evening, and 2 of them at the expense of Michael Owings. Pretty good hitting pitcher.
So Looper with 2 gone. See the numbers on Brayden Looper, 90 pitches, and trying to get through this 6th inning with the score tied.
You know, that strikeout to Jay Bruce, make that 5 strikeouts. I miscounted. I didn't put the K in the box before I started flapping my lips.
You just misremembered.
Do that a lot.
And be careful with this pitch. Kendall sets up away. Encarnacion, a shot. Hall, nice play to second for the out. Man, Bill Hall is putting on a defensive clinic in this series. Well done, Billy. The inning is over. The Reds get 2, though. 2-run home run by Dickerson, and it's all tied at 3. Astro talking it over with his starting pitcher. Let's see if Looper is headed back to the mound. Looper 6 innings so far with 5 strikeouts. Micah Owings back in the ball game now. He's given up 3 runs in 5 innings. Fielder leads off. Middle of the order for the Crew. Fielder, Hart, and Cameron against Owings. Brewers went out to a 3-0 lead after Cameron's home run. Reds got a run in the 5th and 2 in the top of this frame. Fielder down the line. That is a foul ball. Jay Bruce has a great arm. Fielder's going to test it. The throw is late. Fielder safe with a double.
Oh, what a slide by Big Prince. He does have a cannon out there in right field. I thought that was an easy double, but it took a very good slide by Prince Fielder on the infield side of the bag to get into second base. Pulls the hands in nicely. Watch Jay Bruce. He had a long way to go down that corner. Played it extremely well off the carom, and check out this throw. All the way on the fly, and Prince Fielder able to get into second base with a leadoff double. Pretty close.
I guarantee you there's not a big man in the league that can make a slide like that. That was impressive from Fielder. So a hustle double for Fielder, and now the Brewers with the go-ahead run at second. And Dusty Baker is going to make the call to the bullpen. So Micah Owings is done for the night. 5+ innings for Owings. And would be on the hook for the loss if the Brewers can deliver Fielder. Now Felco called to the pen. We'll take a timeout. We'll set him up. So Burton on to face Corey Hart. Owings goes 5+, gives up 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Has given up 3 runs to this point. Fielder belongs to Owings at second base. And Hart bunts one in the air. Boy, an easy out. Not what Corey Hart was looking for.
Yeah, he was looking to push bunt. He wanted to push that ball toward Brandon Phillips at second base. But it looked like that ball was up and in on him. Got the bat back into his body a little bit. You can see where the ball ended up, and an easy out for Jared Burton. Burton relies on good sync with his fastball and a slider. Basically 2 pitches, which makes him pretty effective out of the bullpen.
It's a little uncharacteristic for Hart. Normally a good bunter. Should have let that one go by. It's an easy out for the Reds. 1 away. Fielder still at second, and here comes Cameron.
But again, that was not a sacrifice bunt situation. There's no way that they would have put a sacrifice on. He was trying to bunt for a base hit and get Prince to third base.
Cameron's hit 2 home runs tonight. Last time a Brewer connected for 3 home runs in a game, Jeff Jenkins, back in 2003. All tied at 3. The Brewers had a 3-0 lead after Cameron's home run in the 4th inning. Reds have come back to tie it. 2-1. Back in the 2nd inning, Cameron leading off against Owings into the Friday's Grill. And then to lead off the 4th, this was way back, 410 feet.
And both pitches almost identical spots with similar results.
Cameron now tied with Corey Hart for the club high with 3 home runs. He's hit 4 in a game in his career. That was back at 0-2. Cameron, as a member of the Mariners, did it in Chicago on the south side. And that one missed. So Cameron, who's wearing the pant legs high in tribute to Jackie Robinson, we caught up with him earlier. He had these thoughts on the great Jackie Robinson.
Jackie was probably as inspirational as Martin Luther King, considering that you know, he was the guy that truly broke the color barrier in our national pastime, and it just really you know, laid down the groundwork for us to really have an opportunity to go out and live out the dream as a lot of young Afro-American kids have.
You can just see how sincere. We saw Willie Randolph on our broadcast open, Mike Cameron, how sincere and truly thankful of what Jackie Robinson provided them with their opportunities.
And many of the Brewers wearing the pants in tribute to Jackie, along with the numbers, of course. All the players wearing 42 tonight. Guys like Bill Hall and Ricky Weeks and Mike Cameron don't normally wear the pant legs that way. That's how Jackie wore them, though.
Yeah, I wonder who actually inspired Jackie Robinson. I mean, everybody talks about how Jackie Robinson inspires them, but there had to be somebody or something that was helping him along, because he had to endure a lot of hardship.
Bill Hall watches this one fly. Back is Dickerson, and it is off the wall, or is it? Yes, off the wall. Fielder will score. It's a double for Hall. Everybody's still wondering if it went out.
Boy, how'd that ball stay in here? When Billy Hall hit it, he just stood there and watched it and then realized that might not be out of here. Wouldn't have been able to get much further than second base anyway, because Cameron and Prince had to hold up. They weren't sure that ball was out either. Well, it certainly sounded off the bat that ball was out of the ballpark. Maybe just a touch off the end. But with that reaction, ordinarily home run hitters will tell you they know. They know when they get one, and Billy thought he got it. Gave it a pretty good ride, but almost out of here, maybe a foot.
Well, Dickerson got a glove on it. Not sure if it would have gone out, but it was close. At any rate, the Brewers take the lead. Hall doubles, 4-3. Milwaukee.
This greedy time right here, base hit, would be very helpful to the confidence of this ball club. Kendall, line drive, down the line, a fair ball. Cameron
scores. Here comes Hall. He'll score. And Kendall in there with a double. 2 RBIs, 6-3 Brewers.
Well, it's raining doubles here for the Brewers in the 6th inning. That's the 3rd one. Well, Jason wasn't about to waste any time taking pitches. First pitch. Rips it down the line. Boy, I'll tell you, just what the doctor ordered. How bad do the Brewers need that? They've got their 3-run lead back. So the bottom half of the order getting it done for Ken Maka.
Cameron and Hall both score. 6-3 Brewers. And Brad Nelson pinch hitting. Sends it right up the pipe. Gonzalez makes the play for out number 2. Inning starts with a Prince Fielder hustle double. Cameron walks. Hall drives in one with a double of his own, and then Jason Kendall, his first extra base hit of the year, produces 2 runs.
And Brad Nelson just barely missed that one. He hit that one straight up. He hit it hard. And another good night for Braden Looper. That's a quality start. 3 runs, 6 innings. And the key stat, you know, the way we've been talking, 1 walk.
And Looper a chance to win for the first time as a Brewer. Now the winning pitcher of record. 6-3 Milwaukee. Back to the top of the order, and Ricky Weeks. Those are the 2 guys that have done the damage tonight, Looper and Cameron. Weeks into right center. This one's well hit. Bruce going back, running out of room, and it's gone. Ricky Weeks, a 2-run home run. 8-3 Milwaukee.
Adjustments that Ricky Weeks has made. I don't remember ever seeing Ricky do that last year, an opposite field home run. Normally when he hits the home runs, he pulls them a slider away, and Ricky drives it out of here to right center. What a nice swing.
His 2nd home run of the year. Counsell ambushing that first pitch. Fouls it away. Boy, the Brewers unloading on the Reds in the 6th inning.
Jared Burton coming in with some pretty good numbers. A lot of his pitches up in his zone in this inning. Hadn't given up hardly anything this year in his first 4 appearances, and getting really rocked here. Only 3 base hits, all extra base hits.
Kendall a big double to score 2. Three home runs in the game for the Brewers. Cameron twice, Weeks a 2-run shot just a moment ago. Cameron to right, on a line, but right at Bruce. The inning ends, but the Brewers break out the big lumber in the 6th inning. 5 runs on 4 hits and a big fly from Weeks.
Text get Brewers to 65246 to sign up now.
Well, the Brewers have swung the bats well here tonight, scoring a 5-run 6th inning this evening. 8-3 Milwaukee. Incidentally, only twice this year have the Brewers scored 6 runs in an entire game. And a 5-run 6th has them on top by 5. As we go to the 7th, and now the bullpen trying to take it the rest of the way to secure a win for Looper. And first up is Mark DeFelice, pitching in his 3rd consecutive game.
Well, Ken Maka has a lot of confidence in DeFelice. As you mentioned, he's been in 4 games now in this homestand and has thrown the baseball extremely well. 5th game, a 150 earned run average.
DeFelice, who retired the side in order yesterday and had a quick inning yesterday. 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout for DeFelice. He's a guy who likes to pitch, though. He's another one of these Brewer relievers who wants to be out there a lot. Kind of like Todd Coffey, who said he wants to make 90 appearances. DeFelice has the kind of mechanics and the kind of arm and the kind of pitch in that cutter to allow him to pitch in consecutive games.
Well, he's been in 5 of 9 games so far this year, so he better want to pitch a lot.
He's just happy to be in the big leagues, isn't he? Hernandez skies one. Shallow center. Weeks has it for out number 1. Well, the Brewers wrapping up the homestand tonight. Off day tomorrow, and then our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Fox Sports Wisconsin has 3 dandies. The Brewers and the Mets, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That Saturday game I'm really looking forward to. Giovanni Gallardo matching up against Johan Santana. It'll be Bush, Gallardo, and Suppan in that series at Citi Field in New York. They unveiled the Robinson Rotunda at Citi Field today. That is a special area in New York. And even Willie Randolph talking about how anxious he was to see that area. Mike Cameron glides over. He's got it for the out. Gonzalez flies out. 2 up, 2 down.
I would imagine that Willie Randolph's going to have somewhat mixed emotions going back to New York. It's going to be interesting to see how he will be received by the folks with the Mets and the Met fans back there.
I talked to Willie about that today at the cage, and he said, my memories of New York, all good. We did a lot of good things there. We turned around a franchise, and he didn't like the way it ended, but Willie is actually going to New York tomorrow morning to participate in the opening of new Yankee Stadium. So he'll be in pinstripes tomorrow. Brewers bench coach. But you can bet his locker is going to be a crowded spot when he shows up at Citi Field, the home of the Mets.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more room in that clubhouse than there was in Old Shea.
Well, no longer do they have orange seats. Seats are green, which a lot of New Yorkers aren't happy about.
Why is that?
Well, you know, the Mets aren't green. They're blue and orange. You know how New Yorkers are.
Brewers aren't green either. They've got green seats. It's more of a calming color, isn't it?
It's more of a neutral color. DeFelice strikes out Darnell McDonald. Man, he just keeps doing it. 3 up, 3 down. And a scoreless 7th inning. The Brewers lead it 8-3. started it with a hustle double. Hall, it looked like he had launched one out. Instead, Dickerson got a glove on it and kept it in. It scored Fielder. Kendall immediately drove in 2 runs on a double, his first extra base hit of the year. It was 6-3 at that point. Then Ricky Weeks, an opposite field home run, a 2-run shot into the Reds bullpen. And when it was all said and done, 5 runs, 4 hits, and a crooked number on the scoreboard. 8-3 Milwaukee. Brewers have out hit the Reds 8-6. And Dusty Baker will send up Nick Massett, making his second appearance.
Well, big, tall right-hander throws pretty much straight over the top. He's only appeared in 1 game so far. A loss against the Mets. Another sinker bowler. I guess that's the theme. If you're a Cincinnati pitcher, you got to be able to sink that fastball, especially when you pitch half your games at Great American Ballpark.
Todd Coffey's probably wondering why so many sinker ballers are in Cincinnati these days.
Hey, they told him not to throw his, and he's got probably the better one of them all.
Ryan Braun leads off for the Brewers, then Fielder, then Hart. Braden Looper started. He is the pitcher of record for the Brewers on the win side. If the Brewers can hang on. Looper wins 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. DeFelice scoreless 7th, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout.
If he puts up those kind of numbers throughout the year, he's going to win a lot of games. This Brewer offense showing signs of breaking out tonight.
Little chopper, Massett with time takes care of Braun for out number 1. Braun was robbed of an extra base hit his last time up. He swung the bat well tonight. Could have very easily had 2 doubles. He walked back in the 3rd. It's a good sign for Ryan. Maybe a sign that he's breaking out of it, although he can still see a little frustration with Braun.
Yeah, you like to see a little frustration.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I agree.
As long as nobody gets hurt.
Except the helmet. You get a new helmet.
He can afford a new one.
Well, Fielder's double last time up really set the tone.
Yeah, nothing wrong with showing some emotion out there. I mean, this day and age of emotionless athletes, I think fans like to see it from time to time.
Just a good old-fashioned snap.
Yeah.
What was your best snap in your career?
You know, I always subscribe to that theory that you tell me about my golf game. I'm not good enough to get mad.
Yeah. Right. Fielder swings, but it gets away. Fielder's going to reach. So a strikeout and a wild pitch allows Fielder to first base.
Now, one of the greatest snaps that we caught on camera and on the air was Sean Casey when the Brewers were in Great American Ballpark. He struck out, and there was a microphone right by that Cincinnati dugout, and all you can hear for about 2 outs was him banging, beating something up with that bat. Some random screams and noises coming from down there. Everybody cleared out, but I guess he felt better.
Yeah, you know, you got to get it out. I remember a few years back, some teams put the punching bags back in the tunnel. Sean Casey, he's doing a great job on the MLB Network.
Yes, he is.
Enjoyed watching him.
We're going to go over there and check out that facility Friday.
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
See Trenny Kusnarek and Matt Vasgersian, our old buddies,
and a cast of thousands.
Hart takes a strike. Speaking of your playing days, I know you like when I bring up your playing days, but we've had so much going on, we have failed to mention that today is an historic day in Brewers history.
Yeah, it's tax day.
It's tax day, and it's no-hitter day.
That's right.
The only no-hitter in Brewers history, Juan Nieves, caught by Bill Schroeder on this day.
In Baltimore. Yeah.
And we take you back. We have video proof. Team streak 1987. This was early in the season.
And that game number 9 and that 13-0 start for the Brewers. A 7-0 win. Here's the last out. And nice catch by Robin Yao, but that was one of about 4 nice plays defensively. Dale Swam actually made a nice play at shortstop.
You look like you got a sucker punch in there on the kidney of Nieves when you were out there.
I've been known to do that.
Aren't you supposed to jump in his arms like Yogi Berra?
He turned his back immediately on me and was looking for Molitor. That's the thing, you know, a future Hall of Famer, he knew who to hug.
You got to get.
And I just had to wrap him up from behind. I felt kind of, slighted.
Oh man, that's funny.
I was looking for the old Yogi Berra thing. Remember on The Perfect Game?
Yeah, you jump in his arms.
Yeah.
Don Larson, you both would have crumbled to the ground.
Yeah, but no.
No love from Senor Nieves.
No.
Who's with the White Sox now. He's one of their coaches, big league coaches.
Nah, just kidding. It was a great moment.
Cameron again, this in the alley. That's going to go to the wall. Can Fielder score? The big man around third. He's being waved home. Here comes the throw. Never mind. Fielder scores. Cameron drives in another one. This time an RBI double. 9-3 Brewers. Cameron red hot tonight.
Well, do not be surprised when you see Cameron in New York. He's got the pant legs up around the knees because he is raking tonight. A fastball down the middle. Another nice short stroke and able to get it out there to center field. And Prince Fielder showing some pretty good wheels here tonight. And able to score with 2 outs.
Fielder is scoring all the way from first. Remember, he had struck out and reached on a wild pitch. So that costs the Reds there. Cameron with 3 RBIs in this game. 2 home runs and a double. His other time up, he walked and scored. A perfect night at the plate. Hall takes a strike. Billy with a big hit last time up. He doubled off the wall in left field. Might have had a chance to go out. It looked like Dickerson got a piece of it. He definitely changed the route of the ball. And it drove in a run.
Well, Billy's 1 for 3, but he's done a lot more tonight than just get that one double. He's played tremendous at third base. He's had a tremendous homestand defensively.
He took a bad hop yesterday that we were talking earlier. He said it would have knocked out every one of my teeth had it been around the face. Instead, he took it off the collarbone. Still sore today. Hall into center field off the end of the bat. And Taveras makes the catch. The Brewers win tonight against Cincinnati. 9-3 on Jackie Robinson Day and no-hitter day. Look at that sucker punch. On a Wednesday night in Milwaukee, the Brewers leading 9-3 over the Reds. To the 8th we go. It's Mark DeFelice still out there. That's such an efficient inning in the 7th. Manager Maka lets him work the 8th. 9-pitch 7th inning for DeFelice. There's a base hit by Taveras. He's really swung the bat well in this series. His 2nd hit in this game. And the Reds with a leadoff runner aboard.
You know, if he continues to do that, the Cincinnati ball club is going to score some runs, because that guy, when he gets on first, it's almost like hitting a double.
And Ken Maka quickly out to the mound. So with the lefty coming up, Dickerson, Maka will make the change. DeFelice, another terrific job tonight, pitching his 3rd consecutive day. Time to go to the bullpen. Take a timeout. Doubled in a run. This was all part of that 5-run 6th inning. Kendall drove in a pair with his first extra base hit of the year, and Ricky Weeks a 2-run opposite field home run. 5 runs on 4 hits in that inning. Mitch Stetter, and on the first pitch, Dickerson flies out. So Maka allowed DeFelice to face 1 hitter to start this 8th. Taveras reached on a base hit. Stetter making his 4th appearance of the season.
Now Stetter still trying to find that comfort level out there in the now for the regular season. Threw pretty well in spring training. Maybe a little bit of nerves early on. The only left-hander out there in Ken Maka's bullpen.
Now facing Joey Votto. Brewers have an off day tomorrow, so Maka will not be afraid to empty out that bullpen. And they also have an off day Monday. So, you know, the Brewers will use that to their advantage. Ken Maka able to shuffle his starting rotation a little bit because of the off day tomorrow. So he allows Bush to start the opener, then Gallardo, and then Suppan.
He just felt as though he didn't want to have Bush and Suppan together in the rotation. Their styles are too similar.
Ball and 2 strikes on Joey Votto. Mets and the Brewers from Citi Field in New York. Flushing, New York. The old parking lot of Shea Stadium. Looks like a beautiful ballpark. I think Votto thought he was rung up. This is what it'll look like. All games on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Bush and Livan Hernandez. Gallardo and Santana Saturday afternoon. And then Jeff Suppan and Mike Pelfrey Sunday afternoon. up the ladder with a fastball. He strikes out Votto.
No. Mitch Stetter is going to have to prove to Ken Mock he's able to get those left-handers out. So far, so good in this outing. A fly out and a strikeout. The second time that Votto has struck out tonight.
So 2 outs, and here's Brandon Phillips. Good news on Trevor Hoffman, by the way. The Brewer closer threw off a bullpen mound today. And reports are it went very well.
I talked to Trevor in the clubhouse before batting practice. He says he feels great. He threw all of his pitches, threw about 40 of them. He's supposed to do that again in New York. And then they will be reevaluated to see what they want to do at that point, whether they want to have him go down to the minor leagues or maybe not.
Well, this was at 3:07, as you can see. Trevor Hoffman throwing off the slope for the first time. That is a very good sight.
Yeah, well, initially they didn't think they were going to have to send Trevor down on rehab, but they may reconsider that just to make sure. I guess the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have him sit out as long as he sat out and have him go out there in a game in the major leagues and then have him hurt that area again. If he does it in the minor leagues, then it's not going to cost him another stint on the DL.
And in that particular role as the closer, when he pitches in a game, then you have a decision as a manager. Do you bring him in just to get him some work to see where he is, or do you bring him in a closing situation? So I would imagine Ken Maka hinted that Hoffman would be pitching somewhere in the minor leagues, or maybe an extended spring, just to get some game action, and they don't have to activate him off the DL to make sure he's healthy. Stetter does a nice job. 3 up, 3 down after the leadoff single. Still 9. First. In the first 10 minutes, if you have just 10 minutes, your important news and weather first with CBS 58 News. 30,349, the announced attendance here tonight. Largest crowd of this Red Series. And the Brewers have given them something to cheer about tonight. 9-3, the Brewers lead it. Bottom of the 8th we go. Jason Kendall, who doubled his last time up, drove in 2 runs. Brandon Phillips will soft it away for out number 1. A busy day in baseball as you see Todd Coffey loosening. Jackie Robinson Day all across the big leagues. Every April 15th from now on in a Major League season, baseball honors Jackie Robinson. All the players wear 42. Even the umpires have 42 on their sleeves. Sad news earlier today in the passing of Merl Harmon. He had 82 years of age. We had Bob Uecker on to talk about Merl and share some of the memories. Those two were paired together for nearly a decade. Wasn't it interesting to hear Uecker talk about him being afraid and nervous to do play-by-play?
Yeah, imagine that.
A Hall of Fame play-by-play announcer as McGee flies out.
And he'd already been very popular, as he mentioned on the Johnny Carson show, and done a number of other different things. And I don't think he's afraid anymore.
No. He said he learned a lot from Merl, and two guys that Uecker was close to passing away this week, Harry Callis and Merl Harmon. So a lot of Brewers fans remember Merl as the voice of the Brewers from 70 to 79.
Yeah, two of the best. It's going to be very strange going into Philadelphia, go to that ballpark without Harry in the press box. I always look forward to seeing Harry Callis.
What a good man he was. So generous with his time. Always loved talking about your team. He wanted to know what was going on with your team. Luke shatters his bat. And a quick inning for Massa. 3-3 down. The Brewers go in order. Park, the finale of this 6-game opening homestand, and the Brewers trying to salvage the final game here, having dropped 4 in a row. Milwaukee trying to hit the road on a winning note as Todd Coffey comes in to pitch.
Not picking up right where he left off in September last year. 9 September appearances, didn't allow an earned run, and that has been the case so far this year. So combined between September and this year, 13 appearances as a Brewer, no runs.
Coffey will work the ninth. He'll have Jay Bruce, Edwin Encarnacion, and Ramon Hernandez as the Brewers try to take it to the house. Off day tomorrow, New York, Friday night on Fox Sports Wisconsin, and then 2 day games, Saturday and Sunday, both on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Coffey has had lights out stuff, closer stuff so far this year for the Brewers, and probably had his best stuff in his last appearance against the Reds. That was back on Monday. That one's well hit to right. Hart makes a play. with ease. Bruce retired. Our story tonight, Mike Cameron, our four-game reset. Cameron on base all 4 times, led off the second with a home run, and then led off the fourth with a home run. His 14th career multi-home run game. Braden Looper 2 outs away from his first win as a Milwaukee Brewer. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. Struck out 5 and only walked 1. That's the key. Terrific performance from Looper. The Reds had tied it in the 6th inning. And Looper was likely finished for the game. The Brewers offense made sure that he exited in the lead. That was that 5-run, 4-hit 6th inning for the Brewers. This is the kind of game we saw all spring from this Brewer ball club. Spring training stats don't mean much. Wins, losses, they certainly don't after the way the Brewers have started. But what we're seeing here tonight is what we saw for 5 weeks down in Arizona.
That big offense, good pitching, everything working together. Tonight's really been the first time we've seen that this year.
Nine runs on 9 Brewer hits. Reds have 7 hits. Billy Hall, another nice pickup. Yeah, he was making it look easy at third base. Was the starting center fielder 2 years ago after the utility man prior to that. Last year, his first year back at third. He is making highlight reel plays on a nightly basis. That was just a good, solid play from Hall. Looks comfortable over there.
It's going to be important for Billy to continue to play well throughout the season if this team hopes to score a lot of runs.
Fans on their feet. Reds down to their last out. Ramon Hernandez has 2 of the Reds' 7 hits. Coffey trying to seal it up for Braden Looper. And this should do it. Council's got a long throw, plenty of time, and that's it. The Brewers win. And 30,000 go home happy, and Rockley finally gets to untuck them here at Miller Park.
Good offense, and Braden Looper really set the tone in that first inning. I mean, 3 up, 3 down.